Junior developer jobs down 20%. Engineers over 30, same window, same AI up. I will show you why they split and which side you are on. Verdict upfront: AI is not coming for senior engineers. It is quietly rearranging who gets hired, who gets cut, and what your experience is worth. I've been an engineer for 20 years and I still felt this. The fear that hits at 11 p.m., not the one you would say out loud at work. You watch Claude write 30 seconds what you used to take an afternoon, and you sit there and think, okay, so what I'm for? So I stopped reading layoff headlines and read actual 2026 data instead. That chart is based on Stanford's 2026 AI index, and it is the whole story in one picture. The 22 to 25 line is down from its peak, while everyone 30 and older went up over the same window, one dataset to opposite direction. Here is what actually happening, and it matters to get this part right. AI is not replacing engineers, it is replacing the task juniors were hired to do: boilerplate, basic database code, scripted tests, routine bug fixes. Think about how you learned. Somebody handed you over a boring ticket. You did it badly, someone told you why, and you got it less bad. That ticket was entry point, and a senior with an AI now does that work themselves in the same time it used to take to write that ticket. So the discipline is fine, judgment is fine. What is thinning out is bottom rung of the ladder. That should worry you for industry's sake, and if you are early career watching this, that is the part of the episode aimed at you. Stay for close, I will have something specific for you. And the numbers back that up. Across tech and media companies, the share of job postings asking for AI skills went up under 8% in 2024 to over 13% in 2025, up almost 70% in a single year. The market is not asking for fewer engineers, it is asking for engineers who can drive these tools. The US tech sector cut nearly 140,000 jobs in first half of 2026, up sharply from last year. That part is real. And in June, for the fourth month running, AI was number one stated reason for layoffs. Not just the tech, across whole economy, about a third of all cuts that month. It even has a face. Oracle cut 21,000 people over past year, and about 13% of the company, and put the reason in filing with regulators the adoption and deployment of AI. 21,000 people. That is not a headline, that's real. So, that is the story, right? The machines came and ladder burned. That is what I thought too. Then I found the number that stopped me. Forrester asked employers who had done AI-driven layoffs how they felt about it. 55% regret it, and Forrester's own forecast for this year, about half of those AI attributed cuts get quietly rehired, often offshore at lower pay. Let that regret number sink in because it breaks the whole story. You do not regret a cut that AI genuinely made unnecessary. That job was never coming back anyway. You regret a cut you made on a bet that had not paid off yet. And a lot of these bets have not. An MIT report last year looked at enterprise AI pilots and found about 95% with no measurable payoffs on the books. That number has been argued over. It's a small sample and early one, but nobody serious is claiming the opposite. Even Sam Altman, and he is no AI pessimist, has a name for it: AI washing. His words: people blaming AI for layoffs they would have done anyway. He says some of the displacement is real too. And I believe him, but we are becoming AI first sounds a lot better on earnings call than we overhired and economy turned. And here is the line that cuts through it. From someone who has every reason to hype this take, Nvidia's Jensen Huang. It is unlikely most people will lose a job to AI. It is most likely the most people will lose their job to somebody who uses AI. That is the whole episode in one sentence. So, when you read AI replace these workers, translate it often that is cost cutting wearing AI as costume. said by executives more confident about this tech than people actually shipping it. So, where does that leave you now 20 years in? Here is the honest part, the receipt I owe you. I split my week into two columns, what Claude genuinely does for me and what it still cannot. The Claude does this for me now column is longer than I'm comfortable admitting. Boilerplate, first draft test, the tedious refactor, explaining an unfamiliar library off my plate. I do not miss it, but the other column is the one that pays me, deciding what we are building and why, catching a design that looks right but is not before it ships. Owning a call when it breaks at 2 a.m. That column did not shrink. If anything, it matters more now because one person's judgment steer a lot more output. And that is the real shift. The value did not move from you to AI. It moved from typing code to directing and checking it. Look at the biggest example out there. Google now writes about 75% of its new code with AI, up from a quarter 24, and Pichai says they keep hiring engineers. The typing got automated, the engineers not. The job moved to a higher level, more judgment, less keystrokes. 20 years of watching systems break is exactly what makes you good at directing and checking AI's work. But only if you actually drive these tools. For me, that is cloud code every day. Experience that will not touch this tool is not safety, it is deadline. Which brings me to the thing I got wrong. For most of my career, the instinct was this: my experience protects itself forever. Put in years, collect the scars, and seniority becomes a wall nobody can get past. That instinct worked for me right up until it did not. Because experience only protects you if you apply it to today's tools. The senior who will not touch AI is not standing behind a wall. They are standing on ice that is already melting, telling themselves it is solid ground. The new instinct is uncomfortable but simple. Treat your experience as raw material you keep reworking, not something you have already finished earning. Take 2 decades of your judgment and point it at AI's work, check it, catch the mistakes, own the outcome. Do that and your experience keep growing instead of going stale. Quick one before I give you the list. I want to know which column you are in. Whatever your answer, be honest in the comments. Is AI making you more valuable or are you the one quietly worried? I read these and the split decides what I make next. So, do not panic. Do this 4 things. That is it. 1. Stop protecting the task AI is good at. Boilerplate and scripted tests are not your value. Hand them over and free yourself up for judgment calls. 2. Get fluent with the tools this quarter, not eventually. Fluent enough to direct them and catch where they lie. That is the demand curve we saw earlier. From 8% of postings to 13 in a single year. Proof the market is asking for this skill specifically. 3. Move to higher level work on purpose. Architecture, review, the why. That is the column that did not shrink. 4. If you are on a bottom rung right now, it did not disappear, it moved. Judgment used to take 5 years to earn. Now you need it from day one. Checking AI's work instead of your own. Start building it on your next ticket. Do not wait for 5 years for someone to hand it to you. One more, this is one for the industry, not just you. If you manage juniors, fight for the bottom rung. The real risk is not losing your job, it is a junior never getting one at all. I am not panicking, and after reading the numbers, I do not think you should either. The work changed, it did not disappear. The people who got fluent with the tools instead of waiting it out there going to be fine. If this gave you less to worry about and more to actually do, subscribe.